In the heart of the galaxy, the leaders of Galaxy7 gathered in their grand council chamber. They were some of the most powerful beings in the universe, sitting at a round table with holographic maps of star systems before them. The room was filled with an air of calm as the leaders discussed the usual matters: trade deals, planetary alliances, and minor disputes. They laughed and joked, their voices echoing across the room. To them, Earth was nothing more than a forgotten planet, far from the spotlight of the galaxy's politics. The thought of humans becoming a threat never crossed their minds. After all, Earth had always been seen as weak and primitive. Its people had never shown any sign of power. The galaxy's leaders felt safe in their control, believing they could easily crush any challenge that came from the blue and green planet. Then, without warning, the room's atmosphere changed. The doors to the chamber opened slowly, and Earth's diplomat entered. There was no ceremony, no grand entrance, just a single human walking into the room. The diplomat's face was calm, but their eyes held something the leaders didn't expect: confidence. The human diplomat spoke softly, but every word was clear. "We are here to show you something," they said. "Something you never believed existed." The leaders exchanged confused glances, not understanding what was happening. They had heard rumors of secret Earth projects, but they had dismissed them as nonsense. Yet, something in the diplomat's voice made them uneasy. The calm before the storm had arrived. Something was about to happen that would change everything. And the Galaxy7 leaders, for the first time, felt a twinge of fear. The tension in the council room thickened as the Earth diplomat stepped forward, their hands steady, but their voice betraying a hidden urgency. "What you are about to see will rewrite everything you know about the galaxy," they said. A simple gesture from the diplomat, and the holographic screens flickered to life. The room went silent as a series of images began to unfold before their eyes. At first, it was just a blur, a massive, shadowy form that seemed to stretch across the stars. The council members leaned forward, trying to make sense of it. As the image sharpened, a colossal ship emerged, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was a triangular behemoth, its edges sharp and jagged, gleaming with an unsettling metallic sheen. Its surface shimmered in the light, glowing faintly as though it was alive. It was as if the ship itself defied the laws of physics. The leaders gasped. They had never seen a warship of such size, power, and design. This wasn't a ship. It was an impossibility. The lights dimmed as another ship appeared beside it, smaller but still massive, with glowing blue thrusters and sleek, alien-like features. The ships continued to materialize, each one more advanced, more deadly than the last. There were dozens of them, forming a fleet that was unimaginable, especially coming from Earth. "How? How is this possible?" one of the council leaders stammered. "This can't be real." The diplomat's cold, calm smile widened. "These are our ships, and they've been waiting in the shadows for far too long." The room was now frozen in disbelief. The leaders who once mocked Earth's insignificance were now staring at a fleet beyond their wildest nightmares. Earth had not only risen, it had brought forth power that should not exist. The council chamber grew eerily silent as the massive fleet continued to flicker on the holographic display. The ships loomed in the air, their sleek designs cutting through the virtual darkness like shadows from a nightmare. The leaders of Galaxy7, once so sure of their control over the galaxy, now found themselves grappling with an undeniable truth. They had severely underestimated humanity. "How long has this been hidden?" another council member whispered, the words barely audible. The tension was thick, and a strange chill filled the air. The Earth diplomat watched them all, their face expressionless but their eyes burning with a quiet intensity. "For decades," the diplomat replied, their voice calm but firm. "Humanity has been preparing for this moment in secret. These ships, this fleet, they were built to protect us from the very forces you believed we could never challenge." A murmur spread through the room, a mix of disbelief and shock. The leaders looked at one another, their minds racing. They had always seen Earth as primitive, weak, and easy to manipulate. But now, humanity had revealed its hand, a hand that held a weapon unlike anything they had ever imagined. The Earth diplomat continued. "You see, these ships are not merely military tools. They are a statement, a reminder that Earth's people will never be pawns again. You pushed us to this, and now you will face the consequences. The leaders of Galaxy7, who had once dismissed Earth's strength, now faced the undeniable reality that humanity was far more powerful than they had ever feared. The fleet before them wasn't just a display of technology. It was a declaration. Humanity was no longer the weakling in the galaxy. The balance of power had shifted forever. And now, the galaxy would have to reckon with Earth's hidden might. The room was filled with an uneasy stillness as the full scale of Earth's hidden fleet continued to unfold before the galaxy's leaders. No one dared to speak. The once proud council members, those who had spent centuries expanding their empires, now sat in stunned silence, unable to fully process what they were witnessing. The ships on the holographic display were no longer just a display of technology. They were a symbol of something far more dangerous, a new era of power. Each ship was a masterpiece of advanced engineering, boasting capabilities that should have been impossible for a species so young. Some had thrusters that glowed with an eerie blue light, cutting through space with almost no visible movement. Others displayed sleek, alien-like curves, their hulls shimmering with energy shields that seemed to bend the very fabric of space. The most disturbing part was the quiet confidence of the Earth diplomat. They didn't gloat or boast. They simply let the images speak for themselves. These ships, the diplomat said, are equipped with technologies you have never seen. Weapons capable of distorting gravity, energy shields strong enough to withstand even the most devastating attacks, and the ability to bend space-time itself. The leaders exchanged nervous glances. They had spent centuries mastering their own weapons, their own technologies, but this was something else. They had never faced anything that could rival this power. How? One leader whispered, his voice trembling. How did you develop such technology? The Earth diplomat's gaze never wavered. It wasn't developed overnight, they said calmly. We've had time. Time you never gave us. Time spent in the shadows, while you focus on your own expansion. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Earth had been planning this for years, and now the galaxy had to reckon with the consequences. Humanity's fleet wasn't just a warning. It was a silent, unstoppable force that could break the galaxy's foundations. And it was only just beginning to move. The tension in the council chamber reached a breaking point. The leaders of Galaxy7, once so sure of their power and control, now found themselves scrambling to understand the full scope of the situation. The Earth diplomat's calm voice sliced through the air, louder now, carrying a weight that could not be ignored. We are not here to conquer, the diplomat continued, their tone unwavering. We are here because you forced our hand. For years, humanity has been silent, watching as the galaxy's greatest empires exploited weaker planets, thinking we would never rise to defend ourselves. But now you've pushed us too far. The holograms of Earth's fleet shifted, zooming in on a massive, imposing flagship, a warship so large it seemed to dwarf everything around it. Its surface was black and metallic, covered in intricate designs that pulsed with energy. The ship was far more than just a weapon. It was a symbol. It was humanity's declaration to the galaxy that they were no longer the helpless, forgotten species of the past. They were a force to be reckoned with. The Earth diplomat paused, letting the weight of their words settle in. You've made the mistake of underestimating us for too long. We have the strength to defend ourselves and the will to stand against any who threaten us. This fleet represents humanity's future, and it will be a future where we are no longer silent. The council members exchanged frantic glances, their eyes wide with fear. They had assumed Earth would never stand up to the galaxy's power. But now, with humanity's fleet on display, they realized how gravely wrong they were. This was no longer a simple diplomatic meeting. This was a turning point. The galaxy had never seen humanity like this before, strong, prepared, and unyielding. The time for negotiations was over. The galaxy's leaders now had to decide. Would they back down, or would they face humanity's wrath? The council chamber felt smaller than ever. Fear clung to the air like smoke as the Earth diplomat allowed the hologram to fade, leaving only silence and the stunned faces of Galaxy7's most powerful rulers. They had come expecting another weak plea from Earth, another request to be spared, another appeal for fairness. Instead, they had been shown something far more terrifying: humanity's true strength. For the first time in centuries, the leaders struggled for words. Some sat frozen, others whispered in disbelief, and a few stared at the empty space where the hologram had vanished, as if hoping it was all a trick. But the truth was undeniable. Earth was no longer the powerless world they ignored. It had risen, quietly and deliberately, building a fleet that could rewrite the balance of power. The Earth diplomat finally broke the silence. We gave warnings. We asked for peace. Yet you chose to mock us, to push us, to control us. That ends today. Their voice carried a calm finality, the kind that crushed hope with its certainty. We do not seek war, but if you threaten us again, we will not hesitate. The diplomat turned to leave, and the chamber doors opened with a soft hum. But before exiting, they delivered the final blow. The fleet you saw is already deployed. It watches your borders. It watches your moves. Choose wisely. And then they were gone. Panic erupted instantly. The leaders shouted over one another, their voices rising in chaos. Plans were thrown out, strategies overturned. Some demanded negotiation. Others demanded war, but none could deny the truth. They had pushed humanity too far. Outside the chamber, humanity's ships drifted to the void like silent giants, their weapons sleeping for now. The galaxy had entered a new age, one shaped by a species it once dismissed. And everyone knew nothing would ever be the same again.